Hey guys, and welcome to my review of the Blue Yeti condenser microphone. So I'm going to be doing the entirety of this review using the Blue Yeti, just so you have an idea on what kind of sound quality you can expect if you were to buy one. So the Blue Yeti is a pretty well-known brand. It's been recommended to me by a good number of YouTubers who use it themselves. It's considered professional grade, and I picked it up for around £110. I've heard people pick it up in the States for about $200. So it's not the cheapest microphone on the rack by any stretch of the imagination, but also far from the most expensive. It comes in a USB plug and play style, so it's just as easy as putting the microphone on your table and plugging it in to get it going. So today I'm going to be talking about what I like about this microphone, what I don't like about this microphone, and sort of my usage of it going forward. So I've been using this microphone for about a week now. I've done a few Let's Plays, I've done a few videos using it, so I've got a pretty good idea on what I'd like to say about it. Okay, so the things I like about it. First of all, the plug and play aspect. It's very easy to set up and you don't need any extra equipment. You don't need mixing boards, preamps. You don't have to worry about external power or any of that faff. All you do is just plug this into your computer and away you go. It's about as straightforward as that. There are a few tweaks that you might want to do later on, but for all intents and purposes, it's a lot simpler setup than most other professional microphone setups are. So it certainly takes a little bit of hassle out of that particular process. I also really like the quality of it as well. It also picks up a lot of the finer tones in your voice, and it also picks up a lot of noises from far away as well. It's also very sensitive to noise, making it ideal for maybe a podcast with 3 or 4 or 5 people in, when you can actually switch the to record the ambient sound of a room using the dial on the front, and it will actually pick up everyone's voices reasonably clearly as well, save you having to mic everyone up with separate microphones or whatever. So it's quite good on those fronts as well. It's also picked up by Linux as well, so if you're a Linux user, then fear not, the Blue Yeti will work on at least the latest version of Ubuntu, which is what I tested it on. It also comes with a USB to mini USB cable, which is how you plug it into the computer. So if the cable that comes with the Blue Yeti is either too short or too long, you can replace it with a cord of a more appropriate length. It's a pretty standard cable to replace. It also fits onto a standard microphone stand as well. I can show you here. Because a few people had asked me whether or not it actually does go onto a standard microphone stand, because that was actually going to be one of their questions, because there are buttons all the way around, so it doesn't sit into a shock mount, but it does fit onto a stand. Okay, so some of the things I don't like about it. Okay, so I've had this problem with every single condenser mic, including this one. In fact, the Blue Yeti is better at dealing with this than other microphones, but it still picks up a lot of electrical interference. That's like a horrible little whine that you get from various electrical interference being picked up off the motherboard when you plug in the USB device. And every single condenser microphone that I've had, every single USB condenser microphone I've ever had, has always picked up quite a lot of electric interference just from the motherboard, and there really isn't that much you can do about it. One of the things that I have done with this is to actually turn the input volume down in Windows to 1 or 0, and then just turn the gain up here. Also, if you use a USB hub, which is one of those things where you can plug in multiple USB devices into one, like a hub, that also reduces the amount of noise, because you're distancing the actual microphone and the power from the microphone from the motherboard itself, where it does pick up the electrical interference. So there are ways around it, but it's still a bit more aggro than I really wanted to deal with. Also, it being a condenser microphone, it does pick up every single sound. So whereas that's a good thing in some cases, if there are roadworks going on outside, or if there's a jet passing over, you'll certainly hear it. And if it's, if you are doing audio recording professionally, like I sometimes do professional voiceovers, that breaks a take. So that's again a little bit of a problem that, say, unidirectional dynamic microphones like my Tascam here don't, or have much less of a problem in dealing with. So I think that's about it. So to sum up, I've been using this, like I say, for a while, and the electrical interference is kind of annoying. You have to tweak a lot of buttons and fiddle around with it quite a lot, and also then it sort of restricts the amount of the distance that you can actually stand away from it, because when you start turning the volumes up too much, then the electrical interference kicks in. So all in all, not a bad microphone. It's certainly a lot better than many of the other condenser microphones I've used, but using a condenser microphone at all for, say, the sakes of let's playing and podcasting isn't always necessarily the best solution, even though it is for some people. So whether or not you actually want to use a condenser microphone, because a lot of people use condenser microphones when non-condenser microphones would be better. But if you are recording in like a professional environment, in a sound booth or anything like that, then condenser microphones are exactly what you want, because you're already drowning out a lot of the outside noises. But yeah, even this microphone here is picking up the sound of the fans running off my my PC, so you can actually hear that. So if I actually wanted to put out any professional work, I'd actually have to use noise cancelling software to get rid of the fans in my machine, which is why I kind of like this, is because it allows you to actually move around. You can actually get away from noise sources to actually record and this is professional grade as well, broadcast quality. So, and the Tascam and the Blue Yeti are in the same kind of price range. So personally, I would have to say, if you want to get like a high amount of quality recording and not have to worry about the interference and the setting up and the all that kind of stuff, then I would actually still go with the portable option of the Tascam. It's a little bit more expensive, but then again, it gets rid of a lot of the aggro, which is fundamentally what I generally currently use this now. So am I going to be carrying on using the Blue Yeti microphone? Probably not, actually. It's a lot of aggro to deal with the electrical noise, and other options that I've had are a little bit easier and straightforward. Also, using a condenser microphone in a non-studio is also not really the most ideal solution as well, even though it seems to be recommended by people who live in just like quieter atmospheres, it seems. So anyway, that's just my brief review on the Blue Yeti. Alright for some people, not alright for others. I think that like everyone out there sort of singing the Blue Yeti's praises, but there are some distinct faults with it, namely the electrical interference, which not everyone gets, and it's not always easily determined as to which computer actually picks up electrical noise and which doesn't. So it's a bit of a crapshoot on that front. But I gotta say, yeah, generally I have mixed feelings about the Blue Yeti, but if you are looking for a high quality, well priced condenser microphone, and for some reason or another you don't have the problem with the electrical interference, then I certainly would recommend this. So that's about it from me today. Thanks very much for watching, and until next time, I've been Chris Ware, and you've been awesome. Take care now.